He called me son, and my chest froze. 1 second, he was scolding me for being careless. The next, his hand brushed mine in a way that made my stomach twist. My brain screamed, "Don't," but my body didn't listen. Then his lips were at my ear. "Sweet thing," he murmured, and the word hit me harder than a punch. My knees almost gave out. Heat pooled low, spreading fast, and I wanted him to keep teaching me all the wrong lessons. I shouldn't have wanted this. He shouldn't be doing this. But his hand lingered on my shoulder, his fingers tracing patterns that made my breath hitch. The scent of him, clean soap, a faint sharpness, was intoxicating, and I found myself leaning into it without thinking. When his lips pressed against mine, slow at first, everything went taut and desperate. My hands found his chest, gripping him as if I could anchor myself. His mouth was demanding, insistent, and I let go, letting him lead, letting myself be undone. Every touch was a lesson. His hands, his mouth, the way he looked at me, all of it burned into me. I wanted to learn every wrong thing from him, to be pushed, to be pulled, to be claimed. And even though I knew it was forbidden, even though every rational thought screamed no, I wanted it. I wanted him. His kiss deepened, and the world around me blurred until there was only the weight of his mouth and the press of his body. My head spun. He tasted like smoke and mint, rough but sweet, and the contradiction only dragged me deeper. His fingers moved from my shoulder to my jaw, thumb stroking my cheek like I was something fragile. But there was nothing fragile about the way my body responded. My pulse raced, my chest heaved, and my skin burned for more. "Son," he whispered again, this time softer, almost reverent, and it made my stomach twist. My brain hated it, rejected it, but the sound of it from his lips, it wrecked me. Every rule I thought I lived by snapped under the weight of that word, that tone, that touch. I should have pulled away. I didn't. Instead, I pressed closer, lips parting under his, my breath hitching when his tongue brushed mine. The sound that left me wasn't a moan, not exactly. It was a surrender. He pulled back just enough to look at me. His eyes were dark, heavy, searching. "You don't even know what you're asking for," he said, voice low, dangerous. My chest heaved, every nerve alive, my voice trembling. "Then show me." The air thickened between us. His hand slid down my arm, slow, deliberate, leaving a trail of goosebumps in its wake. When his fingers threaded with mine, my knees almost buckled. "You'll regret this," he warned, though his lips were already finding mine again, harder this time, rougher, all pretense of restraint gone. I gasped into him, letting his hunger devour me. His hand was at the back of my neck, pulling me deeper, making me melt into the heat and danger of it. Every line of him pressed against me, every movement teaching me the language of one I'd never dared to speak before. And God, I wanted the lesson to never end. My hands roamed without thought, chest, shoulders, the hard curve of muscle beneath his shirt, and every groan, every hitch in his breath told me I was touching him right, that I was giving something back. "You're too easy to ruin," he muttered against my mouth, and then kissed me again, reckless, consuming. I didn't care if he ruined me. I wanted him to. His words sank into me. Too easy to ruin. And instead of scaring me, they ignited something deep, something reckless. My breath came in short bursts as his hands mapped my body like he already knew every hidden fault line, ready to break me apart. I pressed harder against him, chest to chest, desperate for the weight of him, for the gravity he seemed to carry. His mouth left mine only long enough to drag down my jaw, my throat, the scrape of stubble setting fire to my skin. "Sweet thing," he murmured again, lips brushing my pulse point. My knees threatened to give out. I clung to him, fingers twisted in his shirt, a sound I didn't recognize ripping from my throat. He pulled back, eyes searching me, dark, heavy, questioning. "You want me to stop?" The question lodged in my chest, sharp and suffocating. I could have said yes. Should have said yes. But my body betrayed me. My head tilted back, baring my throat to him, and my voice came out ragged, trembling. "No. Don't stop." That was all he needed. His mouth was on me again, hot and consuming, lips crushing mine with bruising force. I kissed back like my life depended on it, my entire body bowing under his lead. Every drag of his tongue, every hungry groan tangled with mine until I didn't know where I ended and he began. His hand slid under my shirt, rough palm against heated skin. The shock of it made me gasp into his mouth, but I didn't pull away. I pushed into it. His thumb traced circles over my ribs, slow, almost tender, while the rest of him was nothing but raw demand. I wanted to be taught, to be undone, to be broken and remade under his hands. "God, look at you," he growled, voice vibrating against my lips. "Shaking already? You've never?" I shook my head, barely able to form words. "Never. Not like this." His grin was wicked dangerous, yet there was something softer behind it, a flash of hunger that matched mine. "Then you're mine tonight. You hear me?" The declaration slammed into me, equal parts terrifying and thrilling. My throat went dry, but I managed to whisper, "Yes." His mouth crashed into mine again, and this time, there was no hesitation. No space for second thoughts. Just heat, chaos, and the terrifying, glorious truth. I wanted him, all of him, no matter the cost. His words and his hands had already pushed me to a point I didn't recognize. Everything inside me trembled, not from fear, but from the kind of anticipation that felt like it could swallow me whole. He shifted, pressing me back against the wall, but his eyes stayed on mine. Even with his mouth still swollen from kissing me, even with his thumbs still making slow circles against my ribs, he was looking at me, waiting, searching. "You can still stop this," he said, voice low but steady. "If we keep going, I'm going to take you there. All the way." My heart slammed against my ribs. I wanted to say something smart, something that would give me back control, but the only thing that came out was a shaky, "I don't want you to stop." His forehead dropped to mine. For a heartbeat, we just breathed the same air, our bodies close but still. Then, softer than before, he said, "Then look at me. Don't hide." I did. And in that second, everything shifted. The hunger was still there, sharp, wild, but there was a thread of care woven through it now, something deliberate in the way his hands moved, in the way he kissed me again. His palms slid over my skin like he was memorizing it, not just taking it. He guided me backwards, slow enough to give me time to catch my breath, until the back of my knees hit the edge of his bed. He pushed me down gently, following me, his weight settling over mine. "You're still shaking," he murmured. My voice cracked. "I'm okay." "Good," he whispered, mouth grazing my ear, "because I'm not going to hurt you. I want you to feel this. All of it." What came next wasn't a blur. It wasn't a mistake. It was slow and deliberate, the kind of intimacy that burned but didn't scorch. He kissed me like a map, tasting every part of me, dragging me past the point where words existed. Every movement of his hands was a question, every sound from me an answer. When we finally came apart, breathless and wrecked, he didn't roll away. He stayed, chest against mine, fingers tangled in my hair. For the first time that night, the silence between us wasn't heavy. It was soft. "You're okay?" he asked quietly. I nodded against his shoulder. "Yeah." He chuckled, low and rough. "You're dangerous, sweet thing. I didn't mean to go this far with you." I tilted my head up, meeting his eyes. They weren't cold. They weren't calculating. They were warm, if a little scared. "Then don't call me sweet thing if you don't mean it," I whispered. He stared at me for a long beat, then his thumb brushed the corner of my mouth. "Maybe I do." It wasn't a love confession. It wasn't a promise. But it was enough for that night. Enough to know that I hadn't just been broken apart. I'd been seen and maybe, just maybe, wanted. I curled into him, the heat between us fading to warmth. Outside, the city kept moving. Inside, for a little while, everything stilled.